Hi there, welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, finally, the government have announced decision to abolish the betting tax, which was introduced by the erstwhile Nana Akufo-Addo government in 2023, mandating the Ghana Revenue Authority to withhold some 10% of all gambling platform wins. The Finance Minister, Kaysil Atoforson, announced the decision today during his presentation of the 2025 budget statement at the Parliament House in Accra, emphasizing that the removal of these taxes will ease the burden on households and improve their disposable incomes. Well, on the streets of Accra, there's been some mixed reaction to this very decision by the government.
Me ade abako we yefiri we me dey sa COVID tax. Sa COVID tax ne dey we yefiri o dey. Ene sa e-levy no. By betting tax ne dey. At least na so ni ko te so.
Ebe mu na wo beku.
Madam. Oh, unim scan microphone ya bet mu.
Oh, it's a good news for Ghanaians simply because all young men have been betting, even the older people have been betting due to the hardships we are facing at the moment. So it's a good news for us. Those 10% being removed from the tax that you win has been costing us a lot due to the hardships.
When last did you win?
Oh, I won about 2 months ago.
Was it like how much?
It's about 5,000.
Wow, so you had to pay government 10% of the 5?
Yeah. Which is costing us a lot. So this time, most people have not been betting. So once the government has announced that, the present NDC government has announced that he has removed the tax, it's a good news to young men.
I mean, when you say because first, you know, it travel no one here, she intina impo kakrebenyano. It me in a paper. I see as a coincidence being put as a be free sport to only 10% free mintinema. It me for baby uncle a bet accounts woman to me in cabindi. It is a bet no. It me can say first no. And it is my free.
So he's very excited. He says that previously, because of the betting tax, they end up spending very little money on stakes because government would then have to take out 10%. But now they're very excited that government have announced they are scrapping the betting tax.
Now, we'll be speaking to Joy Sports editor Tahiru Fentil pretty shortly because he had suggested that the betting tax should be maintained and used dedicatedly only for sports, used for the development of sports. But it does appear government has taken a different direction. We'll hear from him very shortly. But before that, we are just 2 days away from the Joy Sports National Dialogue, a thought leadership program aimed at shaping the future of sports. A suggestion, and as far as its removal is concerned, you are hoping that the government will rather, take it to the sports fund so that it will be used to promote, sports and also especially sports infrastructure. What's your take on this, position by government?
Well, Musbao, very good evening. Listen, I think as far as the betting tax itself is concerned, I think I have been against it from the very beginning. Against scrapping it, I mean. And young people may not like to hear this from me, but it's the truth. I feel like it's a missed opportunity that we could have repurposed that into sports fan, and that could have provided the seed money for a sports fan for us. And we didn't do that. We just scrapped it. And I was just looking at the numbers as far as that's concerned. The betting tax in itself over the last, in fact, for a year period, it could have raked in some 180 million Ghana cedis, according to the finance minister. If we had this money to form the seed fund for the sports fund, that could have provided us something to begin with. And then we could start to explore other ways of adding onto that fund. And the reason I argued that the betting tax should have remained and revenue of which should have been redirected to the sports fund is that the betting tax is as a direct consequence of a sporting activity. So the income from there could have gone directly into, of course, managing sporting activities. And I'm even more vindicated in that position because the government has scrapped it and the government says they are totally fine. It's not going to affect them, which means they could have put that into the development of sports and it would not have affected other areas of the economy. And that didn't happen. However, I would like to remind the government that there is still a gross gaming revenue of 20% that is placed on all stakes. Now, that is paid by the betting companies because there are two components of the betting tax. The 10% withholding tax, which is charged on the winnings at withdrawal, and then there is a 20% gross gaming revenue that is charged on every stake minus the winnings that the companies are paying out. So every money you use to stake a bet or lottery, whether you win or not, the government takes 20% of it from the betting company or from the lottery company. That tax still remains as we speak. I would suggest that the government considers repurposing that particular revenue and directing it into sports funds. That could provide the seed funding for the establishment of the sports fund, because we all know that a sports fund is badly needed at this point.
Well, let's talk about the event coming up on Thursday now. I mean, we'll just go into some of the individuals who will be speaking at the event. I mean, just give us a sense of why, you know, you decided to panel these individuals, Anthony Bafford, Tom Vernon, and, you know, a few other seasoned sports administrators that will be part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's a necessary conversation, isn't it, Musbao? It's almost as if at the moment, people have no clue how we're going to reset, how we're going to develop our sport. It's almost like even when the people are trying, it's just not coming together. And so whatever they touch, it tends to absolute bonkers. It's not working. So it's time to get creative. It's time to be drastic. It's time to be innovative in the approach. It's obvious that doing things the same way over and over again is simply not working. So what we've done is assemble people with established credentials of successfully running sporting entities or sporting enterprises. Tom Vernon is one of those people. He's come here, he's looked at this environment, and he's found a way to produce multi-million-dollar footballers while we stay in this country and have no clue how to do it. So we've gone to beg him to come and share ideas with us. How did he do it? How can we do it? How can we grow a successful sporting enterprise? How do we move the country from a natural resource base to becoming a talent-based economy? Because all around the world, if you look at the UK, for example, they have no natural resources. They depend solely on talent. How do we run a hybrid system? How do we successfully transition our economy from being solely dependent on natural resources to becoming dependent on both natural resources and talent? So he would give us ideas of how to do that. Also teaching us the established modern trends in terms of sporting expenditure. How are sponsors spending their money now? Why aren't they coming to Ghana? What are the spending trends of all these big enterprises? Why aren't the Nikes coming to Ghana? Why aren't the Pumas coming to Ghana? Why aren't all these giant spending corporations in sports investing in Ghana? What's wrong? What aren't we doing right? We have Dr. Frank Appiah-Kusi. He's a lecturer of sports science at the University of Health and Allied Sciences. He's been doing a lot of work on governance. You would agree with me, one of our biggest problems in this country is governance in the sporting federation. That's why the GFA can boldly hit their chest and say they are the most organized sporting institution in Ghana. And they're not even wrong. Because you saw the elections on Saturday. Weightlifting went to do elections. They couldn't even hold the elections. And it's that bad. No accountability. All they care about is coming for money from the sports community to travel abroad. No one has a development program. No one has accounting platforms, accounting regimes for accounting for the funds that are given to them. Everybody just wants a visa to travel abroad. So we have a massive governance issue in our sports. He will be taking us through that. Infrastructure is a big problem, as you would know. And that's where a very established international sports consultant, Magnus Rex Dankwa, will be taking us through that. Anthony Baffo will be taking us through a session on stadium security and the best practices in stadium infrastructure as well. And then you've also got others like Mauko Afajinu, who is the executive vice president of the African Table Tennis Federation. He will be taking us through a session on recreation, because the sports ministry is now being repurposed to sports and recreation. We need to understand the recreational aspect of that ministry, what is its role and what would be its contribution to the economic development and social cohesion that we so much seek in this country. And then you look at our carefully selected special guests that will be coming, because the obvious question is it just another talk show? They're coming to talk, then what happens? So we've invited the people that are critical to the implementation of a lot of these ideas. The sports minister will be our special guest. Okay, we'll have Felix Ofozukwache will be there, somebody at the heart of government. Joshua Alabi will be there as well, an experienced sports administrator, now also in government. He will be there. We have seasoned sports journalists like Godfred Akoto-Boafo. He will be there. We invited Sadiq Adams as well. He's coming. And then you have administrators, not just from football. So the GFA are invited, but we have also invited people from Ghana Athletics, Paul Fuseni, Ghana Swimming, Farida, and Delphina Kwe all have been invited, the likes of Veronica Comey. So we have a mix of carefully selected top brains in sports administration, sports governance, sports journalism to try and help us, because we are desperate at this moment. We need ideas, unique ideas on how we can move our sports forward. That's why Joy Sports couldn't just sit aloof and do another talking. We're bringing all these great minds together. We'll put together a document after that, submit it to the sports ministry, and then beg them to do the right thing. Hopefully, the government will set up that sports fund, which can then fund all the great ideas that we'll be putting together. So everything is connected.
Amazing. Friends, really appreciate your time tonight. Of course, we'll continue with the conversation tomorrow as we build up to the big event on Thursday. Fencho Tahiro is the editor of Joy Sports, the head of the team there. And of course, we're all excited for the big event on Thursday. But let's get to the camp of the Black Stars now, because the assistant coach, Desmond Ofoe, believes that the team has learned from their mistakes, and are ready to bounce back after this month's FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Chad and Madagascar. Ghana failed to win a single game in their 6 AFCON qualifying matches, eventually losing out on the place at the Continental Showpiece later this year. Desmond is, however, confident that the Black Stars will be ready when they face Chad in a few weeks' time. Well, we'll bring you that story later, but let's turn to tennis now, because the highly anticipated Rainbow Nations Challenge tennis tournament is set to return for its 4th edition for March 11 today to the 13th, bringing together 56 players from 23 countries to compete at the Accra Lawn Tennis Club. The tournament, hosted by the Ghana South African Business Chamber, continues to serve as a platform for fostering international business networking and cooperation. We've got more for you in this report. Organized by the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber under the patronage of Clotet Cole MP Zeneto Ajiman Rawlings, the tournament aims to strengthen international business ties while promoting sports diplomacy. Running from Tuesday, March 11 to Thursday, March 13th, the competition will see 56 players from 23 countries battle it out at the Accra Lawn Tennis Club. Vice President of the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber, Chris Everett, expressed excitement about the tournament's growth and the increase in number of participants.
We started in 2022 and now excited with a 4th one, successfully grouped with a total number of 56 players, 23 different nationalities. 13 ladies is the biggest group of members, the biggest group of ladies ever. And we start now officially with the representative of the South African High Commission. And now we're ready to go over a period of 3 days from today, the 11th of March. Wednesday the 12th, and then the finals on Thursday the 13th, where there's quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the finals will be played. And we are all very excited. 4th time in a row. It's a great honor to have this great team. We normally say it's a team. Now it's a family of tennis players of all nations. Expect fantastic competition. Who's going to know? Surely there will be a great competition to be the winners. They prepared for months ago already. We play in doubles. Let's see on the play out today and tomorrow what's going to happen, and on the finals on Thursday. Obviously, everybody is welcome on Thursday to come and have a look as well.
With proceeds set to benefit the Zaneto Ajiman Rawlings Foundation for Community Project in Korle Klote, the MP praised the initiative and emphasized the need for greater investment in the sport to develop talents.
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I wish more people would do that because, like I said, it creates a very non-threatening atmosphere where people feel safe enough to be a part of something where there's fun, there's competition, and at the end of that, a contribution is made towards a good project in a community. I think that we need to invest a lot more in our sports, and certainly, I mean, about 4 years ago or so, I donated quite a few tennis rackets to young children in the constituency, just to encourage the sports. And so from my point of view, we will keep advocating, not just for young people to get involved in sport, but for the government to pay more attention to talent and pushing us as far as we can go, and not just looking at football and putting all the money in football.
Meanwhile, defending champions Team USA are gearing up to retain their title against fierce competition from Ghana, India, Italy, Belgium and South Africa. Some participants reflected on their performances after their matches.
It's great. I mean, thank you for the organizer to organizing this in this wonderful tennis club on clay. Thank you to the South African embassy and the Ghana South African Chamber of Commerce. No, it's great. I mean, after work, during the week, to be able to do this is magnificent. And then great courts, great weather, magnificent. Thank you.
This event is very, 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 very important because it promotes tennis, it promotes networking, and then also to make new friends. And that's the essence of the tournament, you know.
First game was very nice. In fact, full respect to our opponent. His serve, his volleys, his strokes was amazing. So well done. They deserve to win.
What's the likelihood of you possibly coming top at the end of the competition?
Oh, no. We are playing to enjoy. It's nice. We wish to play our best. We wish we win the next few games. Let's see how it happens.
The action continues on Wednesday on the floodlight from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m, leading up to a thrilling finals night on Thursday, capped off with a celebratory gala cocktail and live music for the winning team. Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports tonight with me, Razak Musbah. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back same time tomorrow.